Okay, back again, Animoji Gaming, and it turns out there is actually one more games that I tried to play besides the Need for Speed Rivals and also the Sleeping Dogs, which I have already prepared. So it was Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012, and this game is actually used to be played on the iOS, so I used to play this on the iPad, and it is basically pretty simple because it's obviously have smaller size. So when it comes to the iOS or the mobile version of this game, we don't actually see any open world or story, so it's just directly just racing all the time without any personal customization as well, I guess, if I'm not mistaken, because I used to complete those games until I eventually remove it because I just want to add more space into another games that basically more endless, which is the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and also the Infinity Blade 3. So the Infinity Blade 3 is no longer available on the App Store, and that's the reason why that I am still trying to keep the iPad with old iOS in order to play those games. So for this, Most Wanted is actually not really good even in the full version, because when you try to compare with the Need for Speed, because even they don't even provide some sort of garage or car lot where you can buy different cars or collecting it, because basically you just need to find some cars and just try to exchange it for some reason, which is pretty weird, to be honest, because yeah, this game was actually developed one of the first Need for Speed, I guess, that was developed by Origin Criterion, so that's the reason why during this time, during this era, which is the Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012, the Hot Pursuit, the Rivals, all of those games didn't have any personal modification to the cars. So yeah, I just don't get it. Until they finally come back with the Need for Speed 2015, 3 years later after this game, which is also the first Need for Speed that was released on the PlayStation 4, perhaps, I'm not sure, because in this era it's only released on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, obviously. Even though there is some remaster or re-release from the old PlayStation 2 or Xbox Classic games into its next generation console. So that's the reason why, basically, even though the Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3 exclusive games is not as good as the PlayStation 2 or Xbox Classic, the previous generation console, they definitely still can enjoy it with those exclusive re-release or even the backward compatibility for certain type of games, which is pretty good. And yeah, since we cannot do any modification, so there are some sort of class in the cars. So for the first car that we are actually driven is already quite fast, so maybe it's almost the top of the class before the hypercar, so or this is still considered a sport car. I'm not sure, because they're definitely higher type of cars, because previously we've seen some hypercars such as the Koenigsegg. Because yeah, it's just standard 911 and also standard Aston Martin. I think most likely it's just a sports car, but the highest tier of the sports car, because the supercar should be maybe Lamborghini Aventador, perhaps, or any kind of 600 or 700 horsepowers. Because I think this one didn't only around 500 horsepower, perhaps, while the hypercar should be above 800.
Wins mods for your car. Fit these immediately for an instant upgrade. Or use
So
Easy Drive
there
later to
is
change
an
your
upgrade
tires,
for the
nitrous,
performance,
chassis,
but
body,
yeah,
or
you just
transmission.
cannot see any differences. Basically, it's just making the car faster for the next level
Pick up more by
of the
smashing through
race.
billboards, blasting past speed cameras, destroying security gates, or escaping the cops.
So since this was
Autolog
basically
tracks
most
every
wanted,
speed point you
so
earn. The
police
more you earn,
and
the
also
closer you
the
get to
iconic
taking on the most
BMW
wanted
M3
drivers
is
and
obviously
dominating your
available on
friends.
this game. But yeah, it's just
Want to
weird
check your progress?
because
Easy Drive is there to help you hunt down all the
there's no
challenges across
story
the
that you
city.
can see
What happens
in
next
this game
is up
at
to you.
all. So there's actually customized cars, but I'm not sure how many things that we can do to customize the body. So there is an arrow as well, but I think it's just like random things that basically make the cars a little bit different, perhaps. I'm not sure. And yeah, all of the instruction is even generated from some sort of text to speech. And for some reason, in order to change the color, we just have to go into some sort of gas station, which reminds me of how we can actually fix the cars as well in the Need for Speed Heat. But this time, it's not only fixing the car, but also changing the colors. which is really weird to be honest, because at some point players just wanted to use their favorite colors into the cars all the time, not changing it like some sort of RGB cars in the GTA 5 speedrunners for the modders. I just don't get it why try to do that. So, since this game was obviously not released on PlayStation 2 or the Xbox Classic, so the graphic quality is already pretty good. It's actually almost equals to the modern Need for Speed that was released right now. Because maybe they still keeping the same engine, I'm not sure. Because yeah, if you talk about racing games, it should be not many. The model cars is basically should be the same. That's the reason why they need to obtain the license every time they try to release the games. So I just don't get it why I tried to change something. And for some reason the sounds is no longer captured by the zoom, or it's captured again. And there's actually a music sounds that I obviously not turning off as well. So I'm not sure whether how can I mute this, or I eventually need to mute everything. I'm not sure. So even with this kind of quality, it's already as good as the Grand Theft Auto 5 graphic mods. But yeah, Grand Theft Auto 5 was initially released not long after this game as well, so maybe that's the reason why. For some reason, the basic graphic quality of those games will most likely similar. But to be honest, even with the newer games that just released right now, the graphic not really has a huge differences. And yeah, that's the reason why I'm still pretty convenient to play in old nostalgic PlayStation 2 games, even though it was basically an old game. And yeah, you just can obviously see the differences. But for me, the PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 games era is already very good in terms of the graphic quality. But yeah, some of the games are sadly never really have a sequel, I don't know, for the good games. Because maybe right now people just concentrate on some unique games, which of course try to increase the graphic quality as well, even though you don't really, for some people, you don't really see those kind of differences. And we are already more than halfway of this video, so this is actually a little bit shorter than the previous Kinect Adventures footage. So it's around 23 minutes and we're just 9 minutes remaining. For some reason, since this games obviously didn't have any difficulty that you can choose, so it's already hard. Just like when I tried to play the Need for Speed Payback and the Need for Speed 2015 before the Need for Speed Heat. I'm not sure about the Need for Speed Unbound because yeah, hopefully it has a difficulty choosing as well, because it's really beneficial for you who didn't want to put any performance upgrades to the car and just wanted to collect and modify the visual. So for this game, it should be more likely a skill, but I don't know, because because the performance upgrade is still basically exists in this game. So that's the reason why some cars feels quite fast, even though if you know the car should be slower than in original stop. It should be slower, but yeah, since there's already a performance upgrades, it's make the cars faster. If you know, visually there's no differences at all. And yeah, it's just the second race, which is still considered easy, but I cannot win as the first position for some reason. I just don't get it. Why this game is just too difficult to play. Maybe because I'm using the HDMI video capture, which make the game has certain delays, but I think it should be not matters because yeah, or maybe I just need to do something else. So I decided to change the car. It just happened to be just in the side of the road. So there's no secrets at all. Just not sure whether with this car I can finally win or not. But for some reason you can actually change the car immediately from the menu, but I just don't get it. The first Aston Martin is just not available. So maybe if I try to use trainer, it's obviously going to be an easy game. It's just like any other games that use cheat or any hack into the offline games. But yeah, some people will consider that as a false challenge, even though for some reason we just want to experience the game a little bit faster in terms of the completion. Or maybe we just wanted to complete in another way. And then since easy cannot win, I'm not sure whether the one that was considered medium is actually gonna be easier. So the loading screen is pretty weird, but it's obviously pretty fast, especially when you try to compare to the modern games, which for some reason makes the loading getting slower all the time, because maybe the amount of data is obviously much bigger, but yeah, that's the reason why it just takes time to load the data, perhaps to load the assets, just like the GTA 5, which used to be an old games, but since the data is just very big, the loading or the online games especially, it still feels very slow. Yeah, some point, the performance of the current generation is still basically bottleneck with storage. So yeah, it's pretty annoying because I just don't get it how the storage was actually developed, because for some reason they just try to make the storage cheaper all the time, but in terms of performance it's just really hard, because even the man, I'm already in the third position, but yeah, the cops is a little bit annoying. So it seems to be a little bit easier. I'm not sure whether it is because the Maserati is actually faster than the Porsche 911 or not. But right now, I'm actually in the first position. I can surpass the Lamborghini Aventador. But Aventador seems to be trying to surpass me again. For some reason, the police is pretty aggressive, much more aggressive than the one that obviously available on the Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005. It's almost as aggressive as the modern Need for Speed games police, like in the Need for Speed Heat. And then, yeah, for some reason, even though I used to be on the first position, but I eventually finished on the fourth position. And it is actually one position better than the first easy race, but it's still not enough to get me a prize. So this is already the half, the end of this video, and I just step into the road strip, and I just don't know whether I can escape the police or not, because I obviously need to go to certain gas station in order to fix the cars, and then I was crashed. And definitely I got busted.
All units, code 3 suspect detained. Return to previous unit.
This is supposed to be the end of this video. It's only 40 seconds remaining. So I just don't get it. What's the difference about the busted? Because in the 2005 Need for Speed Most Wanted, if you get busted all the time, the cars will be gone, and you just need to buy and customize all over again. So I was trying to exit the game, but I just don't know how. So